All right, good morning again, Ghanaians. Let me welcome you back to the WoezorTV. This is the dialogue, and then also thank the team for bringing us the breakfast cafe there, Santua, Karen, and even myself. I did the sports, of course. So we're back for an insightful conversation which has to do with the Ghana and the US have that Ghana rejected. Remember, somewhere April, a news came out that Ghana has rejected $109 million US health deal when it comes to that. When it comes to they providing us some essentials when it comes to health delivery in this country. And so we want to dive deep into this conversation and understand why a country like Ghana will stand down a $109 million US health deal. Because if you look at this country, it is one of the issues that we've been battling with when it comes to quality health delivery. Even though successive governments have tried to provide us with their best when it comes to health delivery in this country. And so years gone, we've been relying on foreign aid. And so why now? Why are you rejecting this one? What is the issue? We will break it down for you to understand why Ghana will stand down this deal. It looks lucrative from outside. That's about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. And so why would a country with economy as such, and when it comes to funding for health and critical issues when it comes to health, will turn down such a deal? You make you understand what it is in. Not just this topic, because we also have the BEC conversation. You know that after today, Monday, will be the last paper that our junior brothers and sisters will be writing to exit the junior high schools. And so you'll be speaking to John Cappy on that. So we have a packed show for you this morning. Two conversation. We are looking at health, and we're also looking at the BEC that is currently ongoing. There are a lot of issues popping out of BEC, which always comes up. You know, it has never been a novelty when it comes to the BEC, and so you still keep up with the conversation to find a lasting solution to all these disparities that we see in the BEC, and then all those things. And these are the two main topics that we are discussing this morning. Ghana standing down and turning down US health D, that is about $109 million US in that package, and then the BEC, the disparities that you've seen. 2 days to go. And so what has been the observation and the success and even the wrongs in the exams writing. But then let's stick to the first conversation that we are having this morning, which has to do with the Ghana-US health deal. What we know so far is that when it comes to the package itself, the monetary aspect, what is in the package, it says that the government turned down the aid under Trump's administration, American First Global Health Strategy, citing concerns over sovereignty, legal control, and data protection. Now, in these three, the sovereignty, legal control, and data protection happens to be one of the major issues that the government is looking at. If Ghana had accepted this deal, what it means is that our health data will be accessible to the US. Now, when they access this data, what would they use it for? What would it mean for the country? Why should we, stop ourselves from America getting access to our data? And so our experts this morning will tell us more about this. Now, the other one is the pressure to sign the deal quickly. Normally, you would have given us some breathing space, when this package comes. So negotiations began in November 2025 when the US presented a memorandum of understanding and requested it be signed within a week with no room for Ghanaian input. This is basically unacceptable. Now, it's a deal between two countries. And so it's like you preparing a food that we are supposed to prepare together, and you ask me to start eating it without even asking you anything about it. It's quite surprising because it has to do with human life. And so if a deal is put before you and you are asked not to give any input, I mean, you contribute nothing to it, it's something else, and you are asked to sign within a week. So it's some sort of like they are pressuring you to do such a thing because it involves money. And so this is one of the reasons that Ghana decided not to go into it. We'll find out more, because probably this might not be the first time that we've been under such circumstance. And so what is so special about this deal that Ghana couldn't see it through and we had to step it down? Now, the other point is that unilateral drafting by the US. The MOU was drafted solely by the United States. Ghana requested joint negotiation, but the US declined and urged immediate signature, citing that other countries had already signed. Look, if you come to Africa, we have a lot of countries that rejected this deal. And those that even accepted have decided to cancel it or end it. And so we need to understand it. What is it about? What is the US seeking to do with this deal? This is the conversation on the dialogue. We have more for you. My name is Godfred Amoaful. Let's go for this break. And let me remind you that I'm sitting in for your regular host, Randy Haji. And so don't be surprised. I'm just stepping in for him at the moment. So let's go for this break. When we return, I will introduce my guest to you. And we begin this conversation to understand what is so special about this deal that Ghana has been bold enough to reject it, despite the money involved. 109 million US dollars. If you are to convert into cedis, about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. It's not a small money, but Ghana says no. You get to understand more. Do stay.
Your flight is ready to leave.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
When I saw his face slipping, I knew it was a stroke. I called an ambulance immediately to save the life we've built together.
The way her arm was hanging down wasn't right. I insisted to go straight to the hospital to save our mother and the family.
The way he was talking when the ambulance arrived alerted us. I rang ahead so the hospital staff were ready to save precious time in the future.
Let me welcome you back to this conversation. Like I promised you that when we return to studio, I'll introduce my guest to you so that we begin this conversation to understand why Ghana will turn down this unilateral health deal between Ghana and the US. $109 million was involved in this package, and so you need to understand. Joining me in the studio is a big man. Let me put it, he's a big man, very big man, a senior medical officer at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Emmanuel Adepa, Dr. Emmanuel Adepa. He has joined me in the studio. He's a very tall man. And so let's get straight to him for this conversation. Like I said, we need to understand, break these terms to the commonest level so that you all understand. Is it the first time Ghana doing this? Why would we turn down such money if you have to convert into Ghana cedis, billions of Ghana cedis going away? This is not Ghana is not the only country. From what we have reached, Zimbabwe earlier this year also rejected such deal similar to what Ghana has done, and so it seems that it's something running through Africa, some of the African countries, and so you get to know what it means and going forward Ghana need to do. Good morning and welcome to the show. This is The Dialogue, Mr. Adepa.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're a big man.
Oh.
when I shook hands with you, I saw my palm was small.
Really? Well, I'm big in stature. I'm not very big in the medical fraternity yet. So yes.
This conversation, Ghana rejecting the US aid. I mean, you've seen it, you've read about it. One will ask, why will Ghana reject such huge money in a package in the health sector?
Well, it has to do with the negative implications of accepting such a deal. Actually, if data has to be shared, it must be based on some mutual agreements and ironing out certain disagreements that will not compromise the data quality and the sovereignty of the nation.
Yeah.
As a medical doctor, I know that whoever has my medical data, data that I have built around the profiles of people, human beings, who are mostly nationals, if I have to release that data to the world, then in the future, whoever has that data has power over me.
Okay.
And can hold me at ransom to so many things, because he would have been able to build a profile of all my patients or my clients,
okay,
who I have seen all this while and have their medical history, right?
Okay.
So every information provided by a patient in that medical history is rich data.
Okay.
And today, whoever has the health data of a nation is richer than that nation, even though the nation may abound in gold resources and other mineral resources. Whoever has your data. You remember when the health ministry, under this administration started, and there was a problem between the limbs and changing over to the games. And we realized that there was our data sitting somewhere where the providers had access to our data and could manipulate it in such a way that we ourselves could not even go into the database. That's exactly what would happen if we hand over our data to a sovereign nation. One major negative implication will be that we will lose our autonomy as a nation.
That's serious.
Very serious.
Why would the US, go this trajectory?
Yeah, because, like I said, the profile I build on patients or whoever, relinquishes his information to me,
okay,
right? The profile I build around that person invariably creates that person, even though the person may not be before me. So every sample I take, every test I conduct, they are all part of the medical history from which I build a profile and a portfolio to come to a conclusion on the health status of the person.
Okay.
So if I hand over that data to another nation, they might be able to, one, build vaccines
okay,
that can either be of benefit to us
Okay.
or for profiteering.
Okay.
And once they have that data and they are able to build even vaccines, remember when the Ebola, the countries that were hit in West Africa with the Ebola virus, because we do not have such, sovereignty in preparing vaccines, the people who came to support us took the data that they got, right? Took samples of the Ebola patients and survivors, and they have gone to create vaccines. You think the vaccines are free?
They are not. But the vaccines are to save lives, right? So why are you not also looking at the positive side? Because we have failed to, create vaccines by our own selves.
Well, that is why we have a lesser evil, which is data sharing. Data sharing means that we are not going to disclose every information, but we are going to disclose bits and pieces that will help to, as it were, collaborate.
Okay.
As it stands now, we are collaborating with so many nations. In the Ghana Vaccine Institute, for instance, is collaborating with many nations for us to be able to as it were, build or produce some vaccines on our own. So that is a win-win situation. Rather than handing over the data for which a nation will give us some pittance for about 5 years, and after 5 years, all that data that we would have given, unlimited access that we would have given, will mean that we are not, they would have built a profile for so many years that they would be able to use for even certain cybersecurity crimes. Look, everybody has a Ghana card now.
Yeah.
And everybody has a health data. Now we can link your Ghana card to certain information, and we are going that route very soon. So your national health insurance, your social security, and every other information you have can be linked to your health data. And can you imagine if that health data is resting in somebody's country or is under somebody's protection, and in real time they can, whenever I input an information, the information goes directly into their big data big data center, and they are monitoring all that data in real time. They will be able to profile some people. Criminals as they are, everybody must be innocent until proven guilty. But they may be able to profile those people and even prevent access. Can you imagine? I am an infectious disease expert in public health, and I attend mostly to persons living with HIV and tuberculosis. Can you imagine if I release the data of those patients and as many of them as I see, and based on that, visas are denied them, access is denied them to certain countries? Do you know the amount of stigmatization we would have brought upon such people?
It makes sense here more, and I get the concept more. So if they get my data,
yes,
they know what
they know your health status. They know everything about you, basically.
So it can affect businesses.
Yes.
It can affect, tourism,
yes,
and all.
And it can affect tourism. It can affect trade. It can affect anything that has to do with bilateral relations between such countries. And therefore, whoever has access, unlimited access to that data, one, compromises your sovereignty as a nation who is independent, and compromises the services that must come into the country in the future. So I am very happy the president ordered that negotiations should stop, and we cannot proceed with whatever demands are being made by the United States of America.
Does that put Ghana at a certain point that US will be viewing us from a different angle?
No, it makes us a sovereign nation, and it makes the US come back better to the negotiation table as another sovereign nation dealing with a sovereign nation, not a colonial master dealing with a vassal state.
Okay. He says that the agreement or the draft was solely, the MOU, let me put that, was solely drafted by the United States.
Yes, and it was on their terms. It's just that they are giving us that amount of money for our data, And everything that we had to sign to was at their dictate. We didn't have a say at all.
And that is not proper when it comes to...
No. You cannot... It's a unilateral negotiation. It's like a give or... a give, a take or pay kind of situation. I mean, you either... once I give you this amount of money, all my terms must be adhered to the letter. And that cannot be a memorandum of understanding.
So they thought the money involved would have coerced Ghana
exactly.
to accept it.
Yes.
That's huge money too.
That amount of money is not of value the next day after we start disbursing that money. For how long? For 5 years. It's even going to come in tranches, isn't it? It's not going to come in bulk.
Yeah.
So what if in future, well, now our CD is stabilized enough for the past 1.5 or so years of this administration. Our CD has been stable. What if something happens that the CD begins to depreciate again? Then the value of that dollar would have depreciated along with the CD, but it would have been their term, and whatever amount they are going to give to us for the 5 years, that would have been it. It's not going to increase, it's not going to decrease. Even though our situation may change along the line.
Yeah.
And like I said, after 5 years is long enough to build a profile of a nation and to compromise the national security of the nation. Because all our soldiers, all our policemen, the health data of everybody is going to rest in somewhere New York or somewhere Washington, D.C. And every United States person, you know how sophisticated they are. They are going to be able to have access into our database at any time, unlimited access. It can be compromised. It can be, there can be cyber security breaches.
Yeah.
We are even requesting for people of interest, our people of interest, to be extradited, and they are failing to do that. But they can come in. Look at what they did to Venezuela recently.
Yeah.
Right? They were able to go in and just remove Maduro, the whole president. That can happen to us. Have we thought about that? If we have a health data of the president of the Republic of Ghana resting somewhere in the glare of somebody in the United States, and then something happens, and maybe the US government says we don't like the president anymore, and therefore we want to extract him from the nation, that can easily be done.
So health data is very important.
Health data, look, every health data I have about you is like you standing before me. Anytime I take your health data, I can build a profile around you, and I can build a blueprint that identifies you as you.
That is serious.
And therefore, I can remotely profile you and get you arrested on any charge, on any crime. I can implicate you in anything. Yeah, it's a serious matter. Recently, I'm not reminding the nation of the tragedy that we went through on August 8th.
Yes.
Of 2025, where the 8 gallant men lost their lives in the helicopter crash. Where did we take their samples for DNA analysis? South Africa. All that data that they would have built from analyzing to identify the bodies are resting in their database. Now, even though we have buried our gallant men, their data, DNA and everything, your DNA is your blueprint, is the blueprint that makes you. It's resting somewhere in the database of... That is why our pathologists got very angry with the health minister for taking that route, for allowing samples to be carried out of the country instead of running the test here. Our pathologists are well enabled to run DNA of any person. Why do they carry out autopsies all the time?
That's
So this
Yeah.
so I am telling you,
Okay.
this is the seriousness of what will be happening. Our cybersecurity compromise, vaccines that can be built with our data and sold to us at commercial prices. It is just like we harvest cocoa now and sell the beans, right? And then people go and Switzerland, for instance, doesn't have cocoa trees, but they will be able to process the cocoa and come and sell it to us at commercial prices. That is profiteering from our data.
Yeah. You are right. Now, as part of it, the agreement would have allowed FDA-approved drugs to bypass Ghana's Foods and Drugs Authority, undermining local regulatory and oversight and potentially risking patients.
That is what I'm talking about. And that is what I have said. They will now build vaccines, produce medicines that are suitable to us because they know us in detail from our health data. Right? And if they decide that, okay, this medication is for West African countries or Ghana specific, they would have done that with their Food and Drugs Authority, but they will be able to because their Food and Drugs Authority has approved it, then our Food and Drugs Authority will be bypassed. And whatever medication they want to flood into the nation, at whatever price, because whenever there is there's an epidemic, for instance, from which we are recovering, or whenever there is any health issue, because there are health issues that are peculiar to Africans.
Yes.
Right? So when medications are produced, because they have the technology, they have the capacity, they have the wherewithal to be able to do that in the next 2-3 years. So even within the period of agreement that is supposed to last for 5 years of the money they are supposed to give us, they will be able to use the data that they would have acquired even in the next 2 years to produce medications specifically for us.
You were even supposed to provide the data for 25 years.
Exactly.
That's looking at the intention, looking at this thing.
And 25 years is almost one generation.
Yeah.
So it means that within that 25 years, children that are born now, their profile for the next 25 years, all their working life,
Will be in their possession.
will be in the possession of the United States of America.
What does this signal to us?
It signals to us that we must begin to take our health matters very seriously. And I'm not mincing words. I am asking that the health minister, it is time. He should not be seen, taking ad hoc decisions. He should sit down with the people who are in the system. He should sit down with the health people and listen to them. Because if it had not taken the health people who were on the panel, the Ghanaian panel, we would not have been able to identify these things and identify the importance or the implications that I'm giving you now. Right? We would not have been able to identify that, and we could have signed off that deal before realizing. And that's what happened to Zambia. You know, Zambia signed onto a similar deal before, Zimbabwe and before realizing it. And it would have been too late for us. So we need to sit down and bring the people who are on the ground, the professors in medicine, the professors in research, the professors in public health especially, to come together and chart a new course in the way we deliver our health.
So while 32 countries have signed similar agreements totaling $20.6 billion, concerns over sovereignty and data sharing are emerging in places like Kenya and Zimbabwe.
Yes. Your security, your cyber, there is a time they can lay siege on your data. Cyber security issues are coming up in those nations because somebody is sitting somewhere and has access in real time Anytime I'm consulting with a patient, because some big data center has been built, and once that data goes into the system, somebody is somewhere monitoring it in real time. Just like, you know, all the CCTV cameras that are on our street, there's somewhere in the police headquarters where people are watching things that are going. It's the same thing. All our data will be in somebody's eye like that. So somebody will be assigned to our data. So you are in charge of the Ghana data, you are in charge of the Kenya data, and they will be seeing and communicating. So whatever they want to do with that data, they can do it. Whatever research they want to come out with, they can come out with the research. Whatever information they want to build on us, that can be done. They wouldn't even need, you know, if there should be a coup d'etat, even, they will not need our people anymore, because they have the health data of the people that they would want to target.
Okay.
And they can be eliminated.
It looks dangerous, but then thank God we did not say.
It is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Because look, we share our data every day with the World Health Organization. Every research we do here in Ghana, data is already shared with the World Health Organization. This is a committee of nations that have come together to see to it that, you know, however every nation is taking care of their people in terms of health delivery, there is some autonomy, but there is some world standard. You know, there are standardized guidelines that are built collectively. Then we bring those guidelines together. It doesn't mean that I necessarily have to follow whatever America does to treat malaria, right? But there is a guideline that I have to follow, so that if I am treating malaria, I know I have to test first, and if the test is negative, using the gold standard of microscopy or staining, and the lab man tells me that the test for malaria is negative, I shouldn't treat, because there could be other causes of fever, or other symptoms that mimic malaria that the person may be presenting. So these are guidelines that have been put together by representatives of the World Health Organization. Now here, America has even come out of the World Health Organization under the Trump administration. So this is a sovereign nation who is, I will say, I still recognize them as the superpower of the world. Now, this is a superpower trying to be the senior prefect of every nation, and therefore unilaterally even bypassing the WHO to access the data of other sovereign nations, which the WHO itself has limited access to.
Wow. Now, looking at this issue, we have issues with health financing.
Yeah.
So far, what's your impression about what this government is doing? Because if you start rejecting such deals and such money, it means that probably you are beginning to tell us that you stand on your own when it comes to certain issues, critical issues on the health sector.
Yeah.
Do you think we are doing well?
Yes, so far I'll say that there are some approaches, even though it is not perfect, there are some approaches that this government has taken regarding health financing. I'll talk about the way they have uncapped the national health insurance to start with, so that every bill or every levy that is levied on national health insurance that is supposed to go to the National Health Insurance Authority is going to the National Health Insurance Authority. No capping for that money to be diverted for other use. So I'll say that everybody that is registered for national health insurance is being taken care of, and every health facility that is recognized or accredited to charge to deliver health under the National Health Insurance Scheme is being reimbursed very quickly. So that is good news. Secondly, the free primary health care that has come now as a policy is also going to be a sort of a relief for the country, so that we'll be able to build or identify chronic illnesses or non-communicable diseases in early enough, so that we do not let them progress into complications before we start treating them. Thirdly, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, which we tout Mahama Care, is another form of health financing that is apart from the National Health Insurance. So it begins where the health insurance, the limit of the health insurance ends. You know.
Yeah.
The president has also brought in the Accra setting, for instance, which is bringing, you know, health care delivery experts from across Africa to see how we can, on our own, be able to generate income.
The Accra reset.
Yes, the Accra reset. So that we will be able to generate some income towards health financing. Because the universal health coverage is saying that no matter the status of the person, right, rich, poor, able to pay, not able to pay, should not suffer any health catastrophe or any financial catastrophe when they come to the point of care. So whether or not the person is able to afford the health care, it should not make the person poor, right? So for now, these three things that the government has put in place, free primary health care, national health insurance, and Mahama Care, are supposed to deal with the limitations that we have here and there, so that we do not leave families poor because of healthcare. And then his Accra Reset agenda is also looking at the broader picture of how we can bring technology to bear and make healthcare delivery more accessible, less expensive, and for everybody to be able to afford at any time.
Let's talk about this agreement. You're still talking about it. If it should return, that Ghana will have to give an input, what will be your recommendations?
What I will recommend is what we are already doing under the World Health Organization. There should not be any compromise on our health data.
Okay.
No sovereign nation should have limitless access to our health data. Now, there is already a standard of giving or sharing health data. Anonymizing the health data should not be compromised.
Okay.
Because names of people should not be included anywhere in health data. You know, that is why I'm a bit sad, right, about what just happened, what just transpired, where some of my colleagues who found themselves, at the wrong side, I will say, of the duty of care to the patient who we unfortunately lost. Their full names were published by the committee in the report to the health minister.
Okay.
That is a no-no.
You are not okay with that?
No, it's not that I'm not okay with that. It is unethical to publish the full names of healthcare workers or a patient who has lost his life in a report.
Okay.
Right? When we are doing audits, we use initials.
Okay.
So we say patient AY or patient EA came to the hospital. Unfortunately, we lost him. Was under the care of Dr. EXY or of Dr. Your WoezorTV, so will be WT, right? That is how we anonymize names.
Okay.
We don't put the names in the daylight.
Okay.
So, if we have to make an input, data must be anonymized.
Okay.
Number two, other things that will give away total information of the person, because like I said, if I take a blood sample of you, that sample is you. So anything in that sample that will give your identity away must be out of the data. And these are things we already do when we are sharing information at the end of the year. Because at the end of the year, all our malaria cases go to WHO.
Okay.
That's how policies are made. That is how medicines are brought to us. That's how we project on the treatment that we are going to, the number that we anticipate. Fortunately, last year, when the National Malaria Day was celebrated, for instance, we realized that we have been able to improve in the treatment of malaria such that malaria deaths have decreased to 98%. So now we have to focus on the 2%. We didn't go sending names of people who died of all the 98% or all the 2% who died in the malaria. We didn't give names, right? And like I said, there are people whose health status is so sensitive that if people should know, they will lose their jobs. And they will lose the benefits of healthcare that they are having from their companies. You don't want their information to be out there. Including very high status, very high members of the social class. You don't want their health information to be out there, and especially in another person's country. That is compromising our cybersecurity and our data sovereignty.
US is very intelligent. You agree to that?
I agree.
Now, they can come back, conceal this deal in such a way that you say you need not to share our information, in a whole, but maybe is partial information sharing okay?
Yes, partial information sharing. We are already doing it under the WHO.
So if US comes, not seeking for full information, but partial information, but on the faces.
No, that will be on our terms. That should be on our terms. And it should be under the international guidelines of information sharing. Nothing more, nothing less.
Should we be concerned about our neighboring countries? Like you said, in the aspect of security.
Yes.
If Ghana has been smart enough, have been bold enough to reject it, but how about other neighboring countries? If they do, how should we start the conversation to let them know that this is what it is, and this is how Ghana, the path Ghana took to reject this?
No, so that is why I'm saying that the people who are experts in these matters should be in the forefront of this agenda. Now, there has been times that even us as health professionals, we do not have access. Even if we seek information from the Ministry of Health, we are unable to get it. That is something we should begin to look at. Anytime there should be a negotiation on these matters, people who already know, right, and are already on the ground in these matters should be the ones to lead the negotiation in the first place, because they are the ones who will be able to identify the loopholes that may be presented. We have a lot of people who have worked with the WHO and are still working with the WHO who are Ghanaians, health experts, in the field and out of the field. These are the guys that should be brought on board to deal with some of these nuances that will be presented. The lawyers who should be called to read through, and they should read through every letter, every page, every I should be dotted and every T should be crossed before any of these things are signed. Because once you append your signature, or once you advise the president to append his signature to such a document, you have invariably said that we agree that our sovereignty as a nation should be parted with to these nations.
Interesting. Let's look at other points happening to be the reason Ghana also rejected this when it comes to still on their financing. It says that even though US pledged 100 million, but Ghana had to provide 70 million in counterpart funding.
Yeah. That means we are also going to give some money. it may not be in cash, but it may be in the equivalent of the human resource we provide, so of course, basically it means that when I sit in my consulting room, whatever I am doing, even though possibly it will be an additional duty, because there are certain things that are going to be added to the information that is needed to make it whole. And that might be an additional work for me, for which in economics, the cost should be calculated and paid to me. But that might not be the case. And so that is counterpart funding that we are giving by using or utilizing our human resource to generate data for them to use. That's like Pharaoh doubling the work of the Israelites without pay.
More burden on us.
More burden on us.
But then we've been relying on foreign aid when it comes to medical delivery and all those things, right? And so wouldn't this blur the relationship between Ghana and the US when it comes to aid to us?
No. There are so many aids that have been cut by the US already to Ghana. Right?
Yeah, the USAID and all those.
USAID has been cut to many countries, including Ghana. But we have not, the relationship has not blurred. I wouldn't say the relationship has blurred yet. We still have very good relations with the United States of America. There are so many of their policies that we still subscribe to. There are so many other things that the likes of, JPIGO and other US-related international NGOs still assist us to do, which are in our interest. So as long as the relationship is in our interest and it's a win-win, it does not compromise on our sovereignty, we are all for it. But I applaud the president for taking the bold step of seeing us as a sovereign nation and not, as it were, compromising on our healthcare and our sovereignty to hand over on a silver platter our health data to a foreign nation.
Do you see America backing off totally?
I don't see. America doesn't back off totally. They may have their interest. They may promote candidates. They may even infiltrate the health system in a way to find people who they may goad on to try and convince us. But now, once we have known that this is what they are bringing on board and this is their original intent, we will also follow in that manner so as not to compromise our health data in any way.
It started with reparations. Now you've rejected their deal. What are you telling them?
We're telling them that we became independent 69 years ago.
They're older than us, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And they also know that they didn't come this far by kowtowing to everything the UK and the superpowers then threw at them. Right? They say they are the land of the free and the home of the brave. We are also a country of freedom and justice. Right? And nothing will compromise our stance when it comes to protecting the health data of our people.
When they view us as being a harsh country, what could be the repercussion on our health?
No, there's not going to be any repercussion on our health. There are things that we know regarding our health status. And the earlier we take our health matters seriously, the better. It's time to retool all health infrastructure that we have to move away from the archaic ways of doing things and treating our people better early enough. If we are able to, produce the healthcare professionals to deal with our health issues, the better. Let's build the health infrastructure. Let's put in the people to work. And to the extent that the workload is not much on them. Look, the healthcare professionals in Ghana are one of the best healthcare professionals you can get anywhere in the world. So if you are able to retool them, you are able to strengthen the healthcare system, according to the building blocks of the World Health Organization. I don't see anywhere that, people will not be able to receive good healthcare delivery anywhere they are in this country.
From all that you've said, it clearly shows that you support the rejection. And what should the Ghanaian be thinking about from now with regards to this deal?
If I, as a medical doctor, I am not permitted to give the health information, privileged information that my patient comes to disclose to me, to even his or her spouse.
That's what you call the confidential, right?
Yes. Confidentiality. Patient-doctor confidentiality does not permit me, even when the person has died. If the person has not told me, doctor, you can reveal my status to my husband or my child or my... that is a discussion we usually have in my consulting room.
Okay.
If they don't agree, you have no right to disclose it, not even in a meeting. Even when the patient has died, Ghanaians should begin to trust us, the medical professionals, that we are doing our best to protect their health data, and we will not allow any politician to compromise that sovereignty, their dignity. Look, we are the only people that even the president of the republic can come and lie naked, naked, stark naked before us. And we can, as it were, we are permitted to seek permission from him to violate his body any way we want. Can you imagine, after all that procedure, and you are supposed to document it, you hand it over? We will not permit anybody to do that, not even the president himself. So Ghanaians should rest assured that the decision that the president has taken and giving directives to his appointees to stay away from this deal, it's in the best interest of the nation, and we support it 100%. We will go back and sit with whatever authorities we have to sit with, review it if we have to, and until we see that there is benefit from whatever we are going to get, as long as the deal shall last, we are not going to compromise on it.
Solid. This is more assured, and you need to put our trust in you, the medical professionals, to protect us, because we are at a critical juncture. And I'm happy that money did not coerce us as a country to submit to this deal. Looking at what you've given us, it has to do with security, businesses, financing, and all those things. And so, it goes. Viewers, you are watching the dialogue.
It even has to do with intellectual property.
Oh, really?
Yes, it even has to do with intellectual property, because if you come and take my health data and go and produce your vaccine from my health data, whose intellectual property is that? It is the receiving country's intellectual. It becomes the receiving country's intellectual property, which was built on my health data. And once that intellectual property goes away, so goes my sovereignty as well.
Wow. It seems that there's a lot of lacuna when it comes to knowledge.
Yes. That's why I'm saying nobody who is not knowledgeable enough in health should lead this negotiation. Because the explanations I have given you makes this thing very scary, even though it looks innocuous. And not even $1 billion is enough to hand over our health data in its entirety to another sovereign country.
You will never get there.
No.
That's what you see.
That's what I am saying. Take it from me as you will take a word from your prophet. Yes. It's not enough to hand over, because there is limitless riches that country can accrue from us. And you know what? Neocolonialism is taking a form of investment in our countries. It's coming back in the form of partnerships.
Okay.
And if we don't take care, if we don't read the fine details of the partnership agreement, we are selling back our sovereignty on a silver platter. And this time, it's not going to come guns blazing. It's going to come in documents that we ourselves failed to read and sign away.
Very interesting. I'm happy that you understand this deal into details. I mean, Doc has done the yeoman's job. He has explained it to the barest minimum that you and I can even understand. The terminologies, the health issues, and all the implications that if we had signed this deal, will come upon us as a country. It's interesting. I promise you that we have two conversations. Doc will be here for the second conversation. It has to do with BC. And so we'll be bringing you that conversation as such. And so do stay as we return for a quick commercial break. When we return, we are zooming straight into the BC to look at what is happening in that sector of education, where our younger brothers and sisters and our children are also writing their first basic education when it comes to their educational journey. And so do stay as we return. When we return, we'll give you more on the dialogue.
Embarrassed. Too embarrassed to speak to a loved one. Too embarrassed to speak to your doctor.
Too embarrassed. When in our lifetime, 1 in 4 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 black men will die from prostate cancer.
Let me repeat that. 1 in 4 black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 black men will die from prostate cancer disease.
1 in 12. That could be your dad, even your older brother, uncle, or grandfather.
You need to make sure they are not embarrassed to speak to you or their doctor about it.
Hey, Dad, have you had your prostate checked out? See? How hard is that? It's easy. Just start the conversation.
Prostate cancer is survivable if caught and treated early enough.
Don't let embarrassment stop you having this important conversation.
You may save someone's life.
Not just your own.
We can be the generation that ends it for good.
Malaria must die, so millions
can live.
If you're watching this with your friends, you'll probably make a joke.
Because you know what you feel on the inside
Isn't what you want people to know.
If you have to pretend to be happy,
find someone you trust and tell them.
If you get mad at things and you don't know why, or have thoughts about hurting yourself,
Find someone you trust and tell them.
you are never alone when you share.
Seriously, people care about you.
It's okay to not understand what you're feeling.
And it's easy to think that you're all alone.
But you don't have to be.
You're never alone when you share.
Don't be ashamed to tell someone you trust what you're feeling.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
Find someone you trust and tell them.
Tell a parent.
Tell a teacher.
Tell a brother or sister.
Or just tell a friend.
You haven't done anything wrong.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's how things get better.
Over 600,000 candidates across the country are writing the 2026 Basic Education Certificate Examination BECE. Amidst all anxiety, the candidates approach the first day with goodwill. As in the past, BECE has always been without issues like examination malpractice. Minister for Education Haruna Idrisu cautioned against these practices, reiterating cautions by the Ghana Education Service.
We are particularly concerned about the growing phenomena of exam malpractices. Last year, it affected about 178 candidates, and several papers were withheld. In some instances, the papers were cancelled. So to you, the candidates, honesty and integrity defines citizenship. Honesty and integrity defines patriotism. And honesty and integrity must be the hallmark of your molding.
All right, welcome back. We're still talking about our two topics, the Ghana and the US health deal. But then the next conversation that we're going to have is about the BECE. As I earlier said, we are looking at what's happening at the moment because we are about 2 days to go. Today and Monday will be the final day according to the schedule they gave us. And so the issue of exams malpractice happens to be reoccurring. It's like something, whether the doctors will call it the chronic disease. It's like we are finding it difficult to find solution to it. You've seen several reports, students being arrested, vigilators being arrested, even this year. And so the situation keeps, coming back. Why are we not, as a country, been able to find solution to this? Why should our kids go out to write exams and we record, this incident? Why can't we find a solution, a lasting solution to it? They go, sit, write, come out without any issues. It's a conversation we'll be talking about from now to the end of the year, maybe the years we have on earth, because it seems that we don't have interest in finding solutions to it. But as to whether we can or not, we have John Kapi on the line. He is the Public Relations Officer for WAEC, the West African Examination Council. He is on it to tell us so far what his assessment has been about the BECE. But then let's come to studio and engage my in-studio guest, Dr. Adepa. I don't know, when did you write your BECE? You remember the date? Should that be 2000 and...
How?
That'd be like 19 something.
I wrote my BECE in 1994.
1994?
Yeah.
Do you see any changes between then and now?
Yes. A lot of changes. In 1994, we wrote 12 subjects. 12? Yeah.
In how many days?
In 6 days, I think.
6 days.
2 subjects a day.
So nothing has changed till now?
No, nothing has changed till now.
Now you are writing 10 in 5 days?
Yes, 10 in 5 days. It's just that because those who will be writing Arabic, yes, that's why the Monday.
Yes, yes. Mr. Kapi, good morning. Thanks for joining us for this conversation. I started with my in-studio guest, Mr. Dr. Emmanuel Adepa, and he mentioned 1990s. He wrote 12 papers in 6 days. Today, 10 in 5 days. People are still arguing that why should we pile this number of papers on these children to write them in this, number of days. If you look at the WASI, it is different. Why are we still doing the same thing now?
Well, thanks for having me, and good morning to your in-studio guests. The point is that when it comes to establishing these protocols about timetables, about subjects, about periods for examinations, it is not the sole responsibility of the West African Examinations Council. We take these decisions in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service and the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. These are bodies that are professional in nature and who are able to advise on educational policies, educational assessment, and so on. So if there's any reason for us to want to change the status quo, then we go back to the drawing board, look at the merits of whatever we are doing right now, look at the demerits and see if there's a need for us to change. Then together we will change, and then that change will be implemented.
We need to do it. When are you saying it? Let's go to the drawing board and reduce it. Don't you think so?
Well, it is not for me or for WAEC alone to decide, because again, the policymakers are the ones who may have decided we want to assess our candidates on this. Remember that education is geared towards a certain career path. And so if they see that in teaching our children this or that subject, it will lead to having this crop of professionals in our system, then they will introduce it. And once it is introduced, we'll look at the assessment aspect of it. And then together with NACA, we advise on how we assess. So for now, on our own, we cannot say that we want to change the system unless those who are advocating that we use a 2-week period to write the paper come out with the reasons for which they are coming out with that kind of advocacy. And based on that, we would then also organize our roundtable, and they would take a look at whatever they've said. And probably if there are any amendments we have to make, we'll go ahead and make them.
Very well. But 5 days now, what has been your assessment?
I think that I would say that I will look at it from 2 angles. First of all, we want to be sure that whoever has registered for the examination is not deprived of the opportunity to write. That examination materials are available at examination centers and on time for the candidates to be able to write. If we talk about getting the questions ready, getting stationery ready, making sure the questions are adequate, they are of the standard, then that is our responsibility. If I say our responsibility, that is WAEC. But then, so on that score, I think that we have been able to acquit ourselves because the questions are all ready. The questions have got to our examination depots. But I think where we are deficient, and if I say we, I'm talking about us and our partners, the Ghana Education Service. We have a few challenges, and those challenges are basically about the speed with which they are able to read the centers with the question papers, and also the attitude of some of the supervisors and invigilators. That leaves a lot, much more to be desired.
Mr. Kapi, you are still seeing exams malpractice, even though the minister, spoke about it when he began his tour on Monday, that he doesn't want to see. We've seen some students being arrested here and there. What is happening?
Well, it is a very difficult question to answer, because what we see is what we report. But then what the motivation is, for example, for a teacher to want to take a snapshot of the question in the examination hall, post it out, and have answers prepared and brought back to them is something that is difficult to tell. We need to take a holistic look at the attitude of these teachers and to find out exactly what the motivation is for them to do whatever they are doing. And then we can come up with something concrete for all of us to look at and take a decision on.
I'm surprised that over the years we don't see a lot of prosecutions when it comes to teachers aiding students to do this malpractice and all those things.
Well, I would say that last year was a record year in the sense that we had about 8 teachers who were handed custodial sentences ranging between 30 days and 8 months. So you realize that at least there was something that was quite deterrent. This year, already we've had 3 prosecutions, and out of these 3, all of them were given fines, and those fines were ranging between 1,200 and 2,400. So it is something that for me, I feel is not deterrent enough. And so if maybe there are stiffer punishments for the people, this kind of thing would become a thing of the past.
Like what?
If there are stiffer punishment for those who are engaged in this examination malpractice, I'm sure that they will be deterred and they wouldn't want to go back to it.
What do you think will be more deterrent, punishment for them?
Okay, I think that the law would provide for us to either incarcerate them or fine them. And I believe that nobody wants their sleeping place to be changed. And so they would not want to engage in anything that will cause that kind of thing in their life. So I believe that if we would look at custodial sentences, and also that the Ghana Education Service will let their disciplinary code work, that the people who are engaged in this act are, sanctioned appropriately, then maybe that will serve as a deterrent to others who may want to engage in the act going forward.
John Kapi, we thank you for your time. But then before you leave us, what assurance will you give to these people? Because probably Monday will be their last paper, right?
Yeah, Monday will be the last paper with the Arabic paper, yes.
So some will be completing today?
Some are completing today, yes, certainly.
So, normally after the paper comes the thinking that they will be going through the results they are bringing out. So, what will you say to them? Do you agree to it that people write some statements in the answer sheet to those that will be marking that, oh, I am this and this, and even money? Have you received that report before?
We are not that receiving the report. I've seen it personally.
Oh,
where they have put out the names of their parents. Please call this number. my daddy will sort you out. Some people would stick in maybe a 20 Ghana cedi note or 100 Ghana cedi note.
Really?
Or they'll write a note that please help me and that kind of thing. We've seen a whole lot of those things.
20 or 100 cedis. But is money allowed into the exam hall?
Well, no, in his pocket, he may have his money. As for that one, we don't frown upon it.
Okay.
But for him to put it in the answer booklet, that is soliciting support, and that is wrong. It's against the rule.
Now, against this background, what will you tell them? Because they go home to think about the results. What message, as a father, will you give to these kids?
What I would tell them simply is that they have done what they are supposed to do. We are also going to do what we are supposed to do. Everything is based on merit. It's the same marking scheme that is going to cut across every single part of the country where marking is taking place. We want to encourage them to be calm. We want to encourage them to be helpful to their parents. We want to encourage them to lead honest lives, not to get into any vices while they wait patiently for the results to be out, maybe in the next 2 or 2.5 months.
All right, Mr. John Kapi, thank you so much for your time. Maybe we'll come back to you after everything is done so that we finalize.
That's right, it's my pleasure.
I want to have you in the studio one day, so that we do.
I'll oblige you. I'll certainly will do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, viewers, that's the public relations officer for WAEC, John Kapi. I've been talking to him for quite a long time. He's very responsive in that regard. But you made mention when you wrote your paper, till now nothing has changed. Still doing
it's
this.
Only the subjects that have changed. In our time, that was before Y2K, so we didn't have computer.
Oh, okay.
And we had more interesting subjects that I thought should have been continued. Something like cultural studies.
Okay.
Right? We had cultural studies where we learned the different cultures.
It's not the same as the social studies we have.
No, social studies. So cultural studies, we had cultural studies different from social studies.
Okay.
Right? We had a cultural studies, and so now cultural studies and social studies have been combined, integrated together, and named social studies, which I think do not bring all the curriculum that should be taught in terms of other people's cultures.
Okay.
Right? We learned about the Mole Dagbani. We learned about, we even learned about how some religions came to be. So we studied about Islam, we studied about Christianity, we studied about a traditional religion. And those days, we had times that we had cultural practicals where we learned drumming and dancing in school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That would have been my best part.
Exactly.
Went to school to drum.
Yes, and in the cultural studies, we had the drama groups where we learned people's cultures. We learned to dance Adowa. We learned to dance Achiagbeko. We learned to dance Agbaja. We learned to dance, Kete. And all the dances from the various, we learned to dance Damba.
Wow.
The various dances as part of the cultural integration. These days, I don't see that happening. And it's very sad because the children, basic education, these children are very young, less than 18, most of them, and they must learn to play in as they are studying. We are, making them focus. That is why many of them are not able to focus and to complete their syllabuses.
It's true.
Right?
So they rely on.
Yes. Those days, look, we had people getting 12 ones and all that. Not because they sat 24 hours behind the books, but because because of the way we had technical drawing and technical skills.
Yes.
These subjects have been combined now into technical skills. But the technical drawing made us bring our drawing boards. We had to draw. So those who wanted to be architects, those who want to be bricklayers and all those things, we learned to draw. And we had time for those practicals. Maybe because that was the time the JSS system was new and President Rawlings wanted some practical vocational skills to come into the system. So we also learned, we also did vocational skills. Where in my school we learned textiles. Some people learned basketry, some people learned pottery, and all the others. And you should come and see us making batik, tie and dye. We learned to do it as JSS people. So when we finished, I was making batik and tie and dye after JSS.
Oh.
But today, is that still available for the students? Anyway, they have computers now.
Yes.
They are doing computing and with all its sophistications and all that. So you can see a lot of them abusing it. Some of them come on social media and say very unpleasant words like taking over the wives and husbands of people and all that.
Caution to
exactly. These are things that we should frown on, and that is why I'm glad the Parent Teacher Association system is back.
It's back, yes.
Because those days, Parent Teacher Association was a very strong association that made sure that students really focused on what they needed to do. Like Mr. John Kapi said, the students, now we can only say they've done what they are supposed to do. if you put, whether you put money or whatever you put in, what you have written is the mark you are going to get, and so that is the only thing we can say. But like you rightly asked, I think that some of the syllabuses should be reviewed to our system, our system of learning. Africans have a way of doing things, and I am very glad that tourism and this kind of tourist destinations in every site. Let's find a way of integrating it into our class system. Let's find a way of bringing back history, the Ghanaian history, and in the Ghanaian culture. Let's find a way of teaching it and incorporating it into the lives of our students so that they are able to well integrate themselves. It should not be just once on paper, but it should, it should go ahead to reflect, so that if you are posted somewhere, you see doctors reject posting to certain deprived areas. Why? Because we have not learned social integration from the beginning. This is basic education. Let's inculcate it into the lives of students. Make them know that everywhere in Ghana, or every Ghanaian, is as equal as we are, privileged or not, so that when we get to that point and we have integrated ourselves enough through the curricula that we have built for the basic education, we will be able to progress. As we progress on the academic ladder, we will be able to move from one point of learning to another, where we deliver service and then come back to give reports and have some mentorships to go along with it.
Viewers, I think Doc has a lot to say, but this is where time will permit us. I spoke to a senior medical officer at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Adepa, on Ghana-US health package, the deal that we rejected. And so he explained into details why Ghana rejected it and why it's necessary we took that decision. We also spoke about the BEC, because some have completed today. Those that will be writing Arabic will complete on Monday. And so you also speak to the public relations officer of WAEC, Mr. John Kapi, on that regard. So this is where you draw the curtains on today's edition of The Dialogue. My name is Godfred Amoaful. Do stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.